wind picked up on the mic?
Yeah, I'd say.
We pegged it.
It's supposed to rain.
I'll tell you what, it's
Yeah.
people know who you are.
Hi, it's Charlie. That's good in this call.
Yeah, sorry.
I realise it's after.
That's fine now. Alright.
Strictly AGL under 16. Well, it's got 2 goals in the scene, so I think we'll get Zebras came on next day and it was equals 1-1.
Pardon? Receiving audio. Is it? I've switched it on. Oh, hang on.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Campbell Reserve, the home of Moreland City, for what is going to be a huge clash, the Moreland Derby. Moreland City hosting the Moreland Zebras. Only 1.3 kilometres separates these two teams. A stretch of road down Nicholson Street, and a great rivalry will ensue today. We'll come very shortly with the lineups for both teams as the referee Bruno Daniello tosses the coin, and it's won by David Countermone of the Zebras, and he'll head towards the club room's end, or the Sydney Road end. We await a great clash between these two teams. Teams who find themselves maybe not as high on the ladder as they wanted to be this year, but still plenty of time to go. Of course, both teams emerging from lockdown as we all have, and a limited opportunity to prepare for this game today. We'll run through the lineups. Firstly, for the visitors, their goalkeeper, Nikola Kostodanovsky. Number 4, Tremaine Sadler. Number 13, Hodor. Number 5, Watley. 16, Cardamone. 11, Jake Barkadash. Number 2, Nathan Tidmarsh. 7, Dario Vidicic. Number 6, Luke Devitt. Number 10, Tom Barfrosh. And number 8, Josh Knight. For the home side, we might come to our special guests for the first half. We're going to have 2 guests with you today here on NPL Victoria's live broadcast of this game, and the first one is life member of Moreland City, a former president of the club and someone who's certainly well involved, and that's Morris Pacetto. Morris, welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you, Matthew. Great to be here, and hopefully everyone's enjoying being out of lockdown and getting the football back on the park, which is the most important thing. So it should be a great game, mate.
I might get you to run through this Moreland City lineup if you can. I've got it on the screen here for you, if you can see that one.
Yeah, so in goals we've got Alex Condeleon, young 18-year-old. At back four we've got Nick Bavkar, Will Abbott, Andrew Viola, and Luka Juric. In midfield, Sam McCall, Corey Thomas, our captain, and Michael Trigger. And up front, Jacob Colosimo, Apai Kuno, and Max Bizzetto.
Okay, so there's the lineup for Moreland City. Of course, I forgot, Morris, you didn't need the screen to tell me who was playing on your own team today, but just here as a reference if we need it. As the Zebras awarded the first free kick of the game. Of course, Bruno is a man known to let the game flow, and that's loved by many. Of course, not many people here in attendance today. Some strict rules around who can and can't attend, and a crowd that would normally see probably close to 500 for a game like this. There's nowhere near that today, unfortunately. Trey Sadler, that right side roll, trying to find Barfrosh up top. Abbott, former Zebras player himself. So Kuno, judged to have fouled Barkadash. Vidicic. I know the pitch has changed quite a lot over the years, Morris, but it still seems very hard and bumpy in spots.
Yeah, look, the pitch is better than certainly what it used to be, Matty, a few years ago now when we used to have the old cricket pitch. But, yeah, look, the wind, it's been a pretty windy couple of days and the ground's cut pretty fine. So it's a bit bumpy and dry. So it's going to be hard to really play some fluid football out there. I think it's going to be a bit of a battle for the 90 minutes.
A battle is what we expect. We talk about the Moreland Derby. Barkadash is calm and composed, trying to keep possession, but it's turned over again. An opportunity for the home side to launch something. Like young Luke Jurcic, formerly of the Melbourne Knights. Great young player. I've had the privilege of coaching him as well, Morris. He's got a great long throw, and in comes that long throw, held up a little bit by the wind. Akuno gets there. Colosimo tried to get there, but Kostadnovsky got it away. It's cleared away, and that long throw has come early. And I think that if the wind wasn't so strong, it might have been a bit more of an effect. But maybe if he comes across and takes one this side in the second half, could be very, very dangerous. But again, here is Jurcic with the long throw. Kuno again the target. 3 men on him and does well, but hoofed away by Bavkar. He's Andrew Viola, a man with plenty of experience in Victorian football. And Vidicic out wide. David Cardamone tries to find Tom Barfarosh. The young man in goals for Moreland City. Condeleon gets out. What can you tell us about him, Morris? What's he like as a keeper and a young man?
Well, look, firstly, he's a great young kid. He came to us a couple of years ago through the Melbourne City system. I think I'm not 100% sure, but I think he's either 17 or 18. He's 2003 born. Got his opportunity. We've had a longer-term injury to our first-choice keeper, Dante Thomas, and Alex has come in and done a tremendous job. I have to say, for the viewers watching and or listening, great feat for a goalkeeper, which in the modern-day football is very important.
So we're getting the insights today from Morris Bizzetto. First half, he'll be providing some expert comments, and I believe it'll be Joe Sala from the Moreland Zebras in the second half. So very privileged today. Oh, here is Barfrosh in behind, and a great opportunity. The linesman did have his flag raised, though. It wouldn't have counted. We are bringing you the best coverage here on NPL Victoria. Plenty of you stuck at home and tuning in live on Facebook and YouTube. Long searching ball. Colosimo and Sadler challenge the ball, and Sadler nods it away. Bavkar looking for options down the line. Finds a Kuno, heavily guarded by Sadler. Thomas sends it out wide to young Basetto. He keeps it in. What can he do with the ball? Comes inside. Michael Trigger looks to combine with a Kuno. Thomas does well, retaining possession. Juricic into the area, looks to find Colosimo at the back post, and Colosimo and Trigger both looking to get towards that one, but in the end couldn't quite get there. Michael Trigger, another player I've coached as well, Morris, back in the day, long time ago. Very talented footballer.
Yeah, look, Michael Trigger came to us, I think from Geelong. We had stints at Geelong and Heidelberg, and obviously a long term at Ballarat. He's certainly the X factor of this Moreland City team, and when he gets the ball, like, really anything can happen, and yeah, great talent.
Absolutely is. Very cagey start. Moreland City probably on top early. Some good chances into the area. The ball needs to be changed over early. Ball being contested in front of the benches. A lot of play on that bench side. It's a very strong wind here today as well. Here's Sadler. Loves to get his left foot. Battle there. Tommy Barfrosh. Strong, but Viola stronger. Wins out. Will Abbott, mentioned earlier, former Zebras players. A few former Zebras players out here. Might check that one, but okay. Chance now for Moreland City, but Basetto blocks it off, and Akuno strongly challenged, and David Cardamone gets in front. Sadler hoofs it away. There's a bit of pressure early from the Moreland City side. Morris, you're getting on top slowly, just early stages.
Yeah, Matty, the boys have started well. You know, it's going to be a tight game. Both teams, I think, probably a little bit disappointed of where they are in the league table at the moment, and you know, there's a lot to play for here in terms of, you know, a loss to either side here will sort of end maybe any sort of chances of promotion. So yeah, look, it's expected to be tight. Difficult conditions, swirling wind. Yeah, it's really going to be a battle.
It is very, very difficult to play football at the moment. The conditions are very average, a very strong wind, and the threat of rain hovering above as well. Corey Thomas just limps away. Hopefully he's okay. He's integral to this Moreland City team. He's been here, I'll be honest, Morris, for as long as I can remember. He's been part of this club. He's been here a very, very long time. And how many years is it now? He's him and his brothers, and there's been a lot of the Welsh boys that came at the time.
Yeah, look, I think this is Corey's 7th year. Like, obviously last year we didn't play, but if we had it, it'd be 7 years since Corey and his brother Casey Thomas came down to Moreland and from Wales and wanted to experience Australian life. And Corey now an Australian citizen, well, certainly residency and married beautiful lady, live out in Craigieburn and have a beautiful 2-year-old daughter. So, yeah, he's really making the most of the opportunity that was presented to him a while ago.
How football can change lives. It's just amazing. Coming out to play some football and settle down and have a family and some kids. Well, a great chance now for Moreland City. Michael Trigger, he's got some targets in the area. One of those targets is Abbott. Couldn't get there. Trey Sadler gets in front. Basetto tries to shield the ball. It's a bit of a battle. Can't quite do it. Ball through from Barfrosh, but offside is Joshy Knight. I'm not sure who stepped up. It might have been Bavkar. Someone stepped up to play him offside. It was very well done. The sun just breaking through, and the through the clouds here at Campbell Reserve, but a long searching ball is just turned over and wasted. Of course, Moreland Zebras, led by Gianfranco Impellizzeri, their second manager of the year. Things have turned around quite well since Gianfranco came in. The team was struggling early on, but Gianfranco a bit more stability and got them well under control. And I know the last couple of weeks they've had quite a bit of input from John Cobiella as well, their performance coach. So with the players being in lockdown, Johnny's set them some quite rigid schedules. So we'll see the fitness levels of both teams. Of course, both teams only having a couple of days to prepare for this fixture. Very, very challenging. What are your thoughts on that, Morris? Should we have potentially postponed the game, or do we recognise that there really just isn't an alternative? We don't have enough weeks in the year.
Yeah, look, I think you're right, Matty. The FFE, I mean, who'd ever want to do that job that the FFE are doing with the fixturing at the moment, with already coming out of our second lockdown for the season and plenty of games that have been missed that need to be caught up on, and availability of grounds and the pressure it takes on players, which are essentially, you know, semi-professional or amateur players. So it's been really, really difficult. And the clubs themselves, you know, it needs to be a shout out to all Victorian football clubs, shutting down, starting up, COVID safety plans, COVID marshals, and all the things you need to do from essentially what's a volunteer community. It's a tremendous effort, but at the end of the day, they all do it. We all do it for the kids and the players, and make sure that health and well-being and the mental state of the whole Australian community, not just in Victoria, is as good as it can be, and community sport's an integral part of that.
It absolutely is, and you'll find that Victoria is one of the only states, or on the East Coast at least, who's playing football today. Most of the New South Wales competition, or the metropolitan competition, obviously they're under lockdown. And Queensland earlier today, Football Queensland cancelled all activities after the announcement that Queensland was going to lockdown as well, or South East Queensland. So the best action is here on NPL Victoria. We are live here, Campbell Reserve. Moreland Zebras are here. They're being hosted by Moreland City. The Moreland Derby. As Cardamone just takes down Thomas. He's just an absolute engine in the middle of the ground, Thomas. He just does not stop. It's great to... sometimes when you watch these games from a commentary point of view, Morris, you can really see the game very differently. You're watching it, you know, in a different aspect. So, but Thomas, he's just a workhorse.
Yeah, look, great attitude, great work rate, you know, absolute professional, a great human being as well. So, you know, he gives his all week in, week out, and that's what you expect from Corey. He really sets a standard for the rest of the players.
Ball in by Abbott. Akuno gets there first. Tommy Barfarosh never stops working, that young man. Vidicic and Viola go at it, and McCall, and it's Vidicic now driving away. Jurcic, he's just so quick and strong, but Vidicic cuts the ball back, tries to find Joshy Knight. Bavkar gets there first, sends it away, and now McCall gets in front. Here's Watley, and now an opportunity for Moreland City. Trigger might have been brought down. Nathan Tidmarsh it was who caught him a little bit late, but again, I mentioned it earlier, Bruno loves to let the game flow, and I've got no problem with that as well. He's one of the most consistent referees. He's that's his thing. You know what you're going to get from him, and if he doesn't blow the whistle for that one, I'm sure the next one won't be blown either. So that's all players ask for these days, is that consistency. Kuno couldn't quite control that one. Knee touch from Devitt. Watley finds Trey Sadler. Back to Watley and across to Sean Hodor. Zebra's trying to play football but breaking down. Sammy McCall turning the ball over again though for Moreland City. So end to end for the moment. Josh Knight trying to get in behind, and Barfarosh picks the ball up on the edge of the area. He can't do much with it. Both teams probably trying to play football, but at the moment the conditions probably not totally suited to the tiki-taka that both are trying to play. Akuno, you see there the ball just bouncing up and making it very challenging for players to to keep it on the floor. And Thomas does well. Jakey Colosimo. Long searching ball to Akuno. Watley probably should have gone to press it earlier, but outsmarted Akuno in a way and let him drive the ball wide. And these conditions playing havoc so far, Morris.
Yeah, you saw in that instance it was a nice ball played through to Apai, and the defenders stood off him and just with his head, and then the wind took the ball and went for a goal kick. The conditions are really tough. Into the wind or against the wind, it's going to be difficult for the players today, but they're doing a good job. They're actually trying to play both sides. You'd expect that from Moreland Zebras with the quality that they have in the team. You know, you mentioned names like Josh Knight and Dario Vidicic, who's on the ball at the moment. Absolute super players, absolute class. So they are trying both sides, but it's going to be tough.
It is tough, but it's a winter sport and we play in all conditions, don't we? So, you know, some teams will be better at it than others. There's Trey Sadler trying to keep the ball moving, but couldn't do it. Michael Trigger, too strong. Beats Vidicic and does a 360. Does another 360 and eventually turns it over to Cardamone. Barfrosh, who's dropped very, very deep. And the Zebras getting their foot on the ball. Barker Daesh finds Vidicic. You can't leave him alone in that sort of area. Puts it in the area, and Abbott just off his knee, and away it goes. I don't think Moreland City want to be giving Dario Vidicic too much room on the edge of the box. As Cardamone will come across and wrap it in with his left foot this corner, and a first set-piece opportunity for the visitors. We'll see what it throws up. This swirling wind will make it very hard as well. Of course, Campbell Reserve, not the biggest of grounds as well, so we'll see what David Cardamone can do. So it will be Cardamone for the Zebras. In it comes. Vidicic was free at the back post, but just over his head. Morris, we talked about having to mark Dario Vidicic. I'm not sure leaving it free on a set piece is the right thing to be doing.
Yeah, but having said that, Matty, if you're ever going to give him a couple of metres, maybe it is inside the box when he needs to head the ball. It's probably not Dario's strength, absolute class in possession, and don't mind that one, as long as they don't give him a couple of metres when he's got the ball at his feet, because he can make something happen, that is for sure.
He certainly can. Great challenge from David Cardamone. He's been very active earlier. The two captains have both been active, putting some strong challenges in and trying to get their foot on the ball for each team. It's Barker Daesh just turns it over, and a long ball to Hodor. Couldn't deal with it properly, but Watley got across and picked it away from Akuno. Joshy Knight not too impressed with some of the treatment he's receiving. I didn't quite see it, but wasn't very happy with Bruno, our referee for the day, Bruno Daniello. As Thomas tries to switch it out to Colosimo, but couldn't quite get it over there, and Jakey Colosimo will go and press Sadler. Josh Knight, he's clipped by McCall, but he might have made a bit of a meal of it. Oh, Bruno's been sucked into the yellow card as well, but I'm not sure. I won't get you to comment on yellow card situations with your own club, Morris, but I'm happy to and say it might have been a little bit harsh from Bruno. Sam McCall hasn't really committed a foul yet. And Josh Knight flung himself in the air, you might say. So I'll take the flak for these ones, Morris, and I'll let you off the hook. I'm a fan of Bruno, so he's a good referee, but I think he might have been sucked in a little bit. I mentioned that Josh Knight was yelling at him a minute earlier about some treatment, and all of a sudden the next foul he gets the card out. So well done, Josh Knight. He's played it well. As Barfrosh is judged to be offside by this assistant on our near side. Of course, the far side has the scoreboard. Our famous scoreboard here at Campbell Reserve went in a couple of years ago. No one updating it today, Morris? Does it get updated to the shots and the saves, or it did at the start, but the novelty's worn off?
No, well, I think our scoreboard, great scoreboard, we had put in a few years ago now, but I think everyone's a bit COVID worn down, and getting someone to sit at a computer screen, putting down every shot on goal, every corner kick and save. They're probably out there making sure that everyone's checked in with the QR code, wearing their masks and socially distancing.
Can be very hard controlling numbers in public parks as well, especially in the city of Moreland, a place where the dog walkers love to come and walk their dogs and stuff like that in these areas. So, of course, there aren't gates at this facility in particular where you can lock it off, and I'm sure most councils don't allow you to lock off grounds for limit access, as Basetto showing his pace out wide. Youngster, only 17 years old, and what can he do now? He sets it to Trigger. Michael Trigger checks back onto his left foot. Kostadnoski spills it, and Apaya Kuno, he's the man on the spot, and it's Moreland City 1, Moreland Zebras 0. Some great work from young Basetto out wide, cuts it back to Trigger. His left-footed strike found Kostadnoski wanting just for a moment, and Apaya Kuno slots it home. Morris, I won't get you to talk too much about your own lad, but the move from Moreland City.
Yeah, look, a good counter-attack in tough conditions, and young Maxi there squared it to Triggs, and once he's got the ball, something's going to happen, and had a strike. Probably keeper should have done maybe a tiny bit better. I think the Moreland Zebras faithful might be disappointed in that one, and Apai was Johnny on the spot to side-foot it in.
Well, he certainly was, and he certainly has been for many years now at this club. I'm not sure when he got here, but I think 2014 rings a bell. 2015, 2014, around then. I remember when I was technical director of Brunswick City on the way to training, I'd see him waiting for the bus on Moreland Road to come to training. So it's amazing the commitment some players have. As you yell out loud enough and you get your free kick. Colosimo wins one. But yeah, I remember seeing him, Morris, lining up on Moreland Road to get the bus literally down the road. He must live very close to Brunswick City's ground.
Yeah, he's around the corner from Brunswick City's ground, actually, Dunstan Reserve. Look, I can't speak highly enough of Apai Kuno. He's one of the best people I've ever met in my football journey. Does a lot of work with the Sudanese community. Very Christian. It's a free kick coming here, so I'll hand over to you now, Manny.
Sorry to cut you off, Morris. There's a ball wrapped in. Kostadnoski, he's made it hard work for himself there. We'll come back and talk about Akuno in just a moment. But a couple of nervy moments from Nikola Kostadnoski. Well, that's a great ball, though. Great release to find Josh Knight. Well done from the young keeper. Condaleon, very good work. I was waiting for the big collision between him and Joshy Knight, but he got there first. But here is Josh Knight. He's in the area. Turns and strikes. Shouts for handball. Not given. I didn't think it was, but that's a great effort from Trigger. He's just overhit it, but the vision to see Colosimo out wide was really, really good. But a great chance there for the Zebras, Morris.
Yeah, look, we talked a little bit about Dario Vidicic, but Josh Knight, he's really dangerous. We know Josh well. He actually, we were the first club Josh played for when he came out to Australia from Wales, probably 7, 8, 9 years ago now, maybe. I'm not sure. I think he's had quite a number of clubs since then, but we're certainly the first club that he played for.
He certainly has had a few clubs. Of course, spent some time with Richmond in the Premier League and amongst others. So, anyway, here is the Zebras. They are 1-0 down. They'll have to chase this game a little bit. Akuno, just a lot of pressure. Young Basetto. He did very well for that first goal. I wasn't aware until you told me before. He's only 17 as well, Morris. So just turned 17 as well. He's very quick. Not sure you got that one from the old man or not, but he's got a bit of pace about him. He did well to set it back to Trigger.
No, that's his mum's side. I was slower than the replay, but shout out, I think, now to the FFE. I mean, young Max, the last couple of years, he's been involved in that TIDC program, Matty, that you know a fair bit about. And he's really developed as a young player, and started now a couple of games for Moreland through circumstance, and it's all part of his learning experience.
I think he scored from memory, Morris, against the Zebras in the last game they played. So certainly one to watch for the future. And I spoke to you before the game around some other young players. Josh Hanna, who's not that young anymore, but he's only 23, 24, I think. The player's been at this club for a few years as well. And it's a club where a lot of young players do get their opportunity to play. There aren't too many mercenaries, to use the word, and there's plenty of mercenaries around in Victorian football, as we both know. But this club doesn't really have those sort of players. Never has, if I'm honest. So, Jackie Colosimo and Tremaine Savage challenge just in front of us. Bavkar finds a Kuno. David Cardamone not very impressed with his teammates' lack of commitment. But this Cardamone turns it over. Thomas finds Basetto. Just can't get in front of Hodor, but what a great challenge from Luke Jurcic. That's a corner. No, the assistant referee, she has signalled for a goal kick. She was a lot closer than me, so I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. So Zebras, 26 minutes played. They try and chase this game. They are down 1-0 because Moreland City scoring through a Paya Kuno. Who else? It's a long throw from Tidmarsh down the line, and Jucic knocks it out. It'll be another throw, and I think Tiddy will come back up again and send it into the box. So it will be a long throw from Nathan Tidmarsh. Not too many targets in there, though, but it might be Devitt he looks for. A bit of height. And he does go towards Devitt. He gets up well, strongly with McCall. Long ball out of defence, and Trigger's breaking forward if Akuno can find him, but he comes to the near side and tries to find Colosimo. He just got his foot around it and found Trigger, who was breaking through, but very hard in these conditions as well. Bavkar finds Colosimo, but Lukey Devitt pinches off him. Cardamone tries to find Knight. Andrew Viola reads the game very well. And Vidicic can't quite get there. Viola's been here for, I think 3 years now, Morris. He came from Richmond. He would be one of the nicest people I've met in Victorian football.
Yeah, agree totally with that, Matty. Absolute gentleman, absolute professional, day job, works with the ATO. Absolute great human being. Actually been here probably, I think, 4 or 5 years. He was involved in that great day we had at Amy Park when we did the playoff with Green Gully. Andrew was an important part of that team, and he brings a wealth of experience. He's a VPL winner with Richmond in it's just superstar team at the time. I think Chats coached him back then, and spent a few years at Port Melbourne, and absolute pleasure to have had Andrew as part of our club over the last 4 or 5 years, definitely.
I'll be honest, Morris, I'd forgotten about that day at Amy Park. Of course, I commentated that game.
Yeah, I've forgotten that day too.
We'll talk about that very, very soon. Might go back and have a look at what could have been the greatest day in the club's history, but for an unbelievable comeback from Green Gully. Here is Vidicic coming nice and deep, and it's really a credit to Moreland City that he's had to come so deep to get the ball. Watley and Hodor just move the ball side to side. Nathan Tidmarsh looks to put the ball in the area. Bit of a stumble from Bavkar. Here's Dario Vidicic. Barker Dash and Watley. Watley with an ambitious effort, if we can call it that, from 35, 40 yards. We'll touch on that day at Amy Park, Morrison. You were seconds away from being a Victorian Premier League club or NPL1, whatever you want to call it these days. It was an unbelievable game. It was one of the best games I've ever commentated. And I remember on the day, and you might not like this one, but I remember on the day there was a bit of, during the week, the build-up, there was a bit of, of course, the talk about Moreland City being a pub club, or a pub team. And I remember on that day when you guys were winning 2-0, were leading at this time, I don't think anyone can call them a pub team anymore. It's the culture and the way the club is these days is certainly different to how it used to be. And that day, that opportunity, what did it mean to you guys as a club?
Yeah, look, that was a great day, great opportunity. Despite the outcome, it was a really proud moment for everyone involved with the club. We sort of, the tag pub team, it's something that sort of stuck around with us for a long time. But I genuinely think we certainly punch above our weight even in this competition that we're playing in at the moment. But yeah, to be seconds away from promotion to the top league in Victoria was actually a scary moment. Funny story, I might hand over to you, Matt, in a minute if this attack looks a bit more promising, but when we went 2-0 up in basically the 90th minute and everyone thought the game was done, I actually received a really great message actually from Josh Knight, who was overseas in Wales for I think he was over for Matt Watley's wedding or one of, here we go, I'll pass over.
Kuno, Trigger driving forward on his left foot, tries to cut it back. And so for a corner. We will come back to that story in a moment and talk about Josh Knight and that message to you. Just stay with play for a minute. Michael Trigger. We've played 31.5 minutes here. Canberra Reserve, Moreland City 1, Moreland Zebras 0. The home side looking for a second. Will Abbott, Andrew Viola, Jacob Colosimo, the big targets. Sapai Kuno in there as well. Who will Trigger look for? He sends it in over the head of Akuno. Devitt gets it away. Thomas back out wide to Trigger. He'll try and clip it in. Oh, he should have clipped it in. And a long ball through to Josh Knight. He's very close to the offside line, but Luke Jurcic too quick. Oh, too intelligent, cutting his line off and doing very well. But here's Vidicic. Moreland City need to reshape a little bit with Jurcic just out of position and Basetto tracking Tidmarsh. He's done well. The young man, if he wins a goal kick, he's done very, very well. Oh, it's a throw in, but it's an excellent job. Tell us more about this message from Josh Knight, Morris.
No, I was just going to say, Matty, that literally when we went 2-0 up in the 90th minute, I received a message from Josh over in Wales saying, congratulations, I'm wrapped for you guys, well done. And by the time I finished reading it, it was almost back to, certainly 2-1 and almost back to 2-2. But yeah, good look, a great day for the club, probably one of the biggest days in our, certainly modern history. We've had some great days in our history, and in fact, the last one when we won the Doherty Cup in 1957, with players like Ted Smith and Frankie Loughran, who's no longer with us, and we have had some great days as a club and celebrations, but certainly in our modern history, that was right up there with them.
I remember that week and the build up to that game, and of course being at Amy Park, and there was a part of a triple header. It was a huge day. Thomas just turns the ball over to Cardamone, and he can't keep it in. Moreland City win the free kick or the throw in. I remember I was very grateful to you, Morris, because earlier in that week you'd put on Twitter, and I've still got the tweet, not bad for a pub team, which gave me license to use the pub team word during the game. So I was very excited by that one and made sure I captured that in case anyone said, why'd you call them a pub team? Well, their president referred to them as a pub team on Twitter during the week. But it used to be the tag, but to be fair, it hasn't been used very often anymore. I haven't heard it for a long time.
Look, it probably, because our British roots, and when I first came to the club in 1997, everyone really enjoyed the camaraderie and playing football and having a social drink afterwards. And, we had a terrible pitch and a turf wicket in the middle of the field, and everyone absolutely hated coming down to Canberra Reserve. And we never took ourselves too seriously. And I think that's part of the culture that we have here in terms of, very little politics, and where we really are, in terms of whilst we're in the NPL, we're really, it's about our community and making sure that everyone's reaches their peak potential and really enjoys their time being part of Moreland City.
It's a great response, and of course, some great insight today with Morris Basetto. He said he's been in the club for 24 years and in varying roles. His kids play here now as well. So, getting this great insight. In the second half, we'll be joined by Joe Sala, the president of Moreland Zebras, someone who's been there again as long as I can ever remember. That club's always been a club that Joe's been part of. So, excellent insight here on NPL Victoria, our live coverage. Of course, today, NPL2, Moreland City and Moreland Zebras. It's currently Moreland City who do lead 1-0. 35 minutes played. The sun out and shining at the moment. It's great news for the commentators who are out in the elements. Certainly trying to avoid a bit of rain for the next hour or so. So Condeleon will send this one over the halfway line, and Watley gets there first. McCall tries to find Basetto. He's so quick, young Max Basetto. And how long's Sam McCall been here? Again, another player I think's been here for quite a while, and that this club as well, Morris.
No, you got that one wrong, Matty. This is Sammy's first year at the club. Another great story, and another really fantastic individual, Sam McCall. Nick came good friends with Nick Bavkar, who came over to us from Werribee, and I think Sam had a couple of months doing pre-season at Northcote, and they didn't. I don't think Northcote wanted him, or they couldn't just agree the situation. So literally just before season started, Nick contacted me, Sammy, and we welcomed Sammy in, and he's been absolutely fantastic for us, and great work rate and great attitude.
Can't be right all the time. As Trigger looks to get on the end of it, he strikes it, and Barkadash gets in front. Trigger back out to Luke Jurcic. Tries to put it in the area, can't get there. Colosimo so strong and so good at holding the ball up. This occasion just drifts away for a goal kick. So 8 minutes to go here, plus stoppage time in the first half. It's been not the most exciting of games, but a game with limited opportunities, and Paya Kuno, as all good strikers does, made sure he made the most of his opportunity, and he's come out and playing the left-hand side at the moment. So Jacob Colosimo's gone a little bit higher. Basetto just annoying Cardamone, trying to win the ball off him. Barkadash to Sadler, the young man in goal. Comes out and gets there just before Joshy Knight. So no rush from this Moreland City team. They'll be happy with a 1-0 lead going in the break. Sent forward, the wind getting hold of that one as well. Tidmarsh heads it away. Barkadash and Thomas challenge the ball. McCall in the middle. Jurcic loves putting these balls in the box. Falls to Trigger. Oh, wow. What an opportunity. Michael Trigger. That's what he can do, can't he, Morris? Just these out of nowhere, the ball is dipping on Trigger there, and he just missed marginally.
Yeah, look, there's no doubting his X factor. He's an absolute talent. Would love to see him a tiny bit fitter, but geez, his talent's incredible and indisputable. So yeah, I've seen him do some amazing things since he's been here, and that was another, off the chest and on the volley, just over the bar. That's Michael Trigger.
So a chance now for the Zebras, the visitors. Jakey Barkadash. Jeez, it's been a while, but I'm sure Jakey played for Australia and the youth teams as well. So let's get my Google search out to do that. I should Google that before I say it, but I'm sure he did. See what he can do. Barkadash into the area. Oh, look at the young man in goals. Just so confident. Very, very good to see. He's not the biggest goalkeeper you'll see, but very agile, very loud, and as Morris said earlier, excellent with his feet. Of course, Jake Barkadash did play for Australia under 20, under 23 level. Shouldn't doubt myself. So just over 5 minutes to go here at Campbell Reserve. Watley trying to bring his team back into it. Sadler, I'm very surprised to see Sadler playing on the right side. Not many teams have the luxury of having two left-footed sort of fullbacks, but very unusual to see a left-footed player playing on the right. Luke Devitt, Barker Daesh, Dario Vidicic under pressure from Bavkar. Tommy Barfrosh, strong from a Melbourne Heart youth product back in the day. It's his brother playing at NPL club Port Melbourne. Okay. Jay Colosimo's couldn't beat Watley. Bavkar to restart play, a Brunswick Zebras junior in his day. I remember refereeing him many moons ago, Morris. Many moons ago. His dad Lou, great bloke, and of course his brother, now an A-League referee as well. So one of the best young referees in Victoria and come from a great family.
Yeah, look, great family, the Bavkar family. Adam, of course, great referee. And Nick Stadlou, I've known Lou for a long time, been involved in Brunswick Zebras for a long time. So really happy to have Nick here. And again, another just great person, great individual and great character to help the young kids come through.
That's what we need here in Victoria. It's funny, the older you get, you remember those people who helped you out as a youngster at all those different clubs, you know, they didn't have to. They spent their time and often their money, you know, setting up clubs and coaching and putting up nets and all that sort of stuff. That's what clubs are made of. Doesn't matter what level you're at. They are the people who keep the game going. It's Barkadash challenged by Akuno. Barkadash is sending it forward. Condeleon in no rush with 3 minutes to go. Really limited chances for this Moreland Zebras team. I can't remember the young man having to make a save in this first half. It's a great long ball to Akuno. Trigger. Oh, neat little ball he tried to play in for Akuno. That's what Michael Trigger can do. Here is Sammy McCall. Comes off Josh United. Kostadnoski will battle to try and keep it in, but he won't be. Won't be successful, and away for a corner. And we are approaching the end of this first period. So really important now. The wind seems to have died down quite a bit. Michael Trigger making his way over. Some instructions being barked from the Moreland Zebras bench to watch the big boys. Here is Trigger. He finds Thomas on the edge of the area. Just an awkward bounce in front of Corey Thomas, really. That ball was, got to him a little bit flatter. He might have had a chance, but was it a set piece? I don't think Thomas was expecting it too much, to be honest.
Well, it certainly looked like a set play. They might have worked on that training ground, even though they've had limited time this week to prepare for the game. So Corey's got the technique to maybe do a little bit better there, but you're right, a bit of a bobble in front of him. But, yeah, not a bad effort.
The Zebras, Tidmarsh, he's turned it over to Basetto, and off goes Basetto, and good luck catching him for Nathan Tidmarsh. So Basetto driving down the right side. Great coverage from Hodor. Just getting in the way of the young man. Of course, 17-year-old Max Basetto was involved in the first goal for Moreland City. His cut back to Michael Trigger, whose strike was parried by Kostadnovsky, and of course Akuno, the man of the moment, slotting the ball home. And that's what separates the two teams at the moment. Moreland Zebras trailing by 1-0. The home side, Moreland City, to have that advantage. Of course, they are a little bit higher on the table as well, Moreland City, and this will just keep extending that gap over their neighbours. Or maybe we're not. I have to get that confirmed. Barkadash. Lukey Devitt trying to find Barfrosh, but again, we talked about it earlier. This ground's not the biggest. You have to be quite accurate. So Moreland City on 14 points and Moreland Zebras on 18 points. So, of course, my fact checker today, Morris Basetto, has got it right again. So these 3 points are big for your club, Morris. They'll take you 1 point behind the Zebras. And still a bit of a gap to second place Pascoe Vale, but you never know. There's always lockdowns and there's still plenty of games to go, and you know anything can happen in football as we tick over the 45-minute mark. It's only 1 minute at a time, I believe, as well, so it won't be long. Trey Sadler not impressed with the players in front of him, not enough movement. So Sadler finds Devitt. He finds Vidicic. Oh. Well, a free kick was given, whether we agree with it or not doesn't matter, but this will be the last moment of the first half. Gianfranco Impellizzeri telling Davide Cardamone to get on the ball, and this kid can hit a ball with his left foot too, so we'll see if Vidicic wants to give it up. It doesn't look like that. I think the I shouldn't say superior, but the experience might take over here. Don't worry about the armband, Dave. Here is Vidicic. 4 in a wall. It's quite a bit of the way out, but I tell you what, with someone like Dario Vidicic's ability, you never know what can happen. Everyone back for Moreland. They know it's the last moment of this first period. Vidicic over the ball. What can Vidicic deliver? It's Dario Vidicic straight to the wall. Hits a Iacuno. The rebound comes off Max Basetto. That'll go away for a corner. And again, this half just further extended again, much to the dismay of people around me. Ball into the area. Abbott strong. Jurcic stronger. And away it goes. So half time here at Campbell Reserve. Moreland City 1. Lead the Moreland Zebras 0. We've been joined in the first half by Moreland City stalwart Morris Basetto. Morris, some final words before we go to half time.
Yeah, look, thanks again, Matty. Really appreciate the opportunity. It's there's a lot to play for here, and the next 45 minutes will be interesting. Great to hand over to another gentleman of the game, Joe Sala, who actually I played with maybe 30 years ago at East Brunswick Ivanhoe. He was the centre-back in the team I played with. He was alongside Robert Collar, who passed away almost 12 months, or just about 12 months ago now. Absolute tragedy, and a gentleman of the game as well. So good luck to Joe, and good luck to you, Matty, and good luck to both teams for the second half. I appreciate the opportunity. Thanks.
No worries. Once again, my name's Matthew McNamara. Joining me in the first half was Morris Basetto. It's Moreland City 1, Moreland Zebras 0. So welcome back to Campbell Reserve. Second half action underway. Moreland Zebras currently with the ball there. Away here at the moment to the Moreland City. And Moreland City have pickpocketed the ball. Trigger. Apaya Kuno. He's taken out. Oh, it's probably not as bad as the Moreland City players are making out. There's plenty of coverage there for the Zebras. But just a moment for the Zebras where things just went wrong. Nathan Tidmarsh could well and truly find himself in the book now. We do apologise. We had some minor technical difficulties coming back for this second period. We joined just as Akuno went away. And Nathan Tidmarsh, who's staying down, maybe he's hurt or maybe he's just trying to avoid the yellow card, but it is inevitable. Bruno Daniello shows the second card of the afternoon. Sam McCall from Moreland City was booked in the first half, so Corey Thomas has moved that ball forward about 3 or 4 metres as well. The Zebras players are making him, Bruno, well aware of that. So Thomas is over the ball. It's Thomas, Trigger and Akuno. Also Jacob Colosimo as well. Plenty of options. Michael Trigger could be the man. Of course, Kostnoski a little shaky in the first half. We'll hope he starts better. I saw John Cobiella having a good chat to him at the halftime break as well. Well, it's no rush here today for this free kick. We've been waiting a while. Bruno Danilo gets the ball back. So Colosimo, Trigger, Thomas over the ball. Who'll take it? Trigger lining up like he's going to absolutely wallop one. There's 6 in the wall for the Zebras. Still, we await this free kick as Bruno wants the wall to move back just slightly. I think he's moved back Barkadash by a millimetre. So, it is Trigger. Michael Trigger sends it well over the club rooms, and we waited 2 minutes for that. So, second half action here. My name is Matthew McNamara. Joining me for the second half is the president, I believe, of Moreland Zebras, Joe Sala. Joe, thanks for joining us and replacing Morris Pacetto.
Thanks very much, Matthew, and thanks for the invite. Happy to be of help.
So the Zebras, it was a slow start to the year, Joe, and of course the club changed coaches a few games in, and Gianfranco Impellizzeri is now the man in charge. We'll come back to that in a moment as Jake Barkadash brings down young Max Pacetto, and he might be lucky to stay out of the book, to be honest, for that one. And just a little bit of a slow start from the Zebras in this second half, Joe.
Haven't really settled so far in the first few minutes, but there's a little bit of time to go. Of course, all this time's getting eaten up here at the moment with all these stoppages, so we'll want to get into stride shortly, Matthew.
So a bit of a sluggish start from the Zebras. It is a ground we talked about. It's very hard to play football on as well. It's just cut so short and so dry and quite bumpy. I know the Zebras do like to play good football, and it's a very hard ground to do that. Michael Trigger lining up like he's about to have a shot from 40 yards. And he does. It's Trigger! Oh, wow, what a great effort. I wrote him off, to be honest, a little bit earlier with looking to go from that sort of distance, but Kostadnoski does well to flick it over the bar. And Michael Trigger, I spoke in the first half with Morris Pacetto that he might not be as fit as he used to be, but he's got some unbelievable ability on the ball. So all the pressure early on this Moreland Zebras team. They do trail 1-0. Apaya Kuno, the man who scored in the first half. Moreland Zebras. I saw the flag up very, very quickly. So you spotted an infringement there. We might come back and talk about the Zebras and their start to the year, Joe. So didn't work out very early, and of course changing coaches, and Gianfranco has been a bit of a revelation. He's done quite well since he's come in.
Look, he has it. He has it. That he inherited a squad that he didn't put together. The club and the previous coaching group, led by Falstro the Amiches, did. But look, these things happen in football clubs. Sometimes it's a case of it's a results-driven industry, Matthew, and we sort of got to do what's best for the club in terms of that. But Falstro's still a favourite son, and we can't get away from that fact. But it just didn't go his way. But it was his 4th year. It's we've given him plenty of time to get the runs on the board. A bit of a tussle here. We're Moreland City looking to put the early pressure on to see if they can put the game beyond reproach, but hopefully our boys swing back into action shortly.
Has been a slow start for the Zebras. And the wind has really died down a lot in the second half as well, which is very unusual. It was absolutely swirling in the first half. It's still there, but not as bad as it was in the first period. And here comes Michael Trigger. He's been involved in all these set pieces so far. What can he deliver? The Zebras nice and high on the edge of the area. Kostadinowski getting his troops organised. So here's Trigger. Delivers towards the back post. Basetto can't get there. Colosimo works hard. Keeps the ball in just. Or maybe not. The assistant on the far side says no. Barker Daesh, of course, spent time with Adelaide United in the A-League and represented Australia under 20, under 23 level. Finds Cardamone. Is the younger Cardamone brother still with the Zebras? No, he's not. He's not. Is he playing still or? Templestowe. Okay, so remember him as a youngster. His dad used to tell he was such a powerful. All the Cardamone boys have just been such strong, powerful kids, and come from a great family as well, Joe.
They are. They're built very solid, but both have got typically good, strong engines too, so they can run all day.
There's Viola just all over Barfarosh, but nothing given by the referee, and then eventually it goes the other way. So, well, the first sub of the afternoon is going to take place, and it looks like it could be Cameron Watson who's coming on. My eyesight's not the best, and Luke Devitt going off. So, is it Cameron coming on, Joe? And why was he on the bench today? Is he carrying an injury?
Coming back, did a lot of work in the during the break, so he's ready to go. I think the boys just didn't want to risk him early on with the helter-skelter of the first half, so hopefully we can settle on the ball a little bit.
It's not the sort of pitch you want to come to either with a carrying injury. It's so heavy and hard, and it's just a tough place to come. Not as bad as it used to be. I had that chat with Morris Basetto in the first half with the cricket pitch, and things have changed quite a lot here. There's sent forward, and Akuno getting in front of Hodor. Cam Watson, again, another former Adelaide United player as well. Here is Thomas. Out wide, Jacob Colosimo. Akuno, the front post, and Kostadinowski gets down well and makes a great save. Just trying to see one of the Moreland Zebras defenders that's caught for a moment as the ball comes into the area. Finds Trigger at the back post. Great diving stop. Well, very important, Tremaine Sadler getting across there. Ball in the area, Colosimo tries to find Akuno. And Basetto couldn't quite get there, and Nathan Tidmarsh. They are absolutely under pressure, this Moreland Zebras team. The first half, it was, I wouldn't say either team really dominated, Joe, but the second half, the Zebras are really struggling at the moment.
A bit of an arm wrestle in the first half. We thought we gave as good as we got. The goal was a little bit unfortunate, but we're definitely under the cosh at the moment. Hopefully, Matthew, it's character building and we come back from here.
It certainly was an unfortunate goal to concede in the first half. It was just a slight error from Kostadinowski that allowed Akuno to sneak in, but this opening 10 minutes or so has been all Moreland City. Here's Michael Trigger. Trigger almost finds the head of Colosimo. Watley tries to whack it away, but not very successfully, unfortunately. It's a very nervous start. It just needs someone to get their foot on the ball, I think. But again, it's not the pitch to do that. That's the problem. So it does make it very, very challenging. Moreland may be playing the best of the conditions, to be honest, and Colosimo keeps it in. Tries to drive across and... Ooh, Jesus, a strong challenge. Thomas and Joshy Knight, I think they are friends from my understanding, but off the pitch, but certainly not on it. They both full-body challenge. A little bit hard to see from this angle exactly who might have been at fault, but it looks like it could be a free kick to Moreland City. So, again, an opportunity for Michael Trigger to get his foot on it and get a ball in the area. Of course, Will Abbott, a former Moreland Zebras player as well. Joe, one of the targets here for Moreland City. So, Trigger delivers. Akuno rises highest. And Akuno runs over to the fans and celebrates his second, Moreland City second. And Moreland City lead by 2-0. You can't say it wasn't coming. A great chance and a great ball in from Michael Trigger. And really, this Moreland Zebras team haven't come out at half-time as I expected. But you can't take anything away from Moreland City. They've started very, very well this second period. And they lead by 2-0. Well, Moreland City really stamping their advantage. Akuno it just shows the Zebras are giving away too many free kicks and getting Trigger on the ball. They really haven't gone past the halfway line in this second half, the Zebras, but there is plenty of time to go, and if the team can rebuild, it is them. Gianfranco Impellizzeri having a chat with John Cobiella, trying to figure out what they can change. Watley finding Sadler into Dario Vidicic, and here they are on the ball, relaxing now. Cam Watson playing nice and deep, looking to get on the ball, pushing Jake Buckadash a little bit higher. And we'll see if that continues as Watson tries to find Cardamone in behind. They probably haven't had any luck from the referee in the second half as well. Moreland Zebras and Nathan Tidmarsh just encouraging Bruno to give them something. I probably agree they haven't got much in the second half yet, but looked like it might have been a foul. Sun once again breaks through Campbell reserve. The young man, Condeleon, the goalkeeper, looked very good in the first half. Vidicic, the class touch, and combines with Barkadash. Nathan Tidmarsh finds Cardamone, just too strong for Jurcic. And Max Basetto gets in the back of Vidicic, and finally the Zebras get a free kick and a chance. And who are the big men to watch, Joe? Might see Cameron Watson on the ball. Who are the targets for this set piece?
Matthew Watley, the centre half, and Tremaine Sadler wandering up there to take up position. The shape of Cam's body suggested it might be an in-swinger towards goal, so it's a case of who's going to chase it.
So we'll see who can get up highest for this Zebras team. They need something to happen. Something to happen quickly. Watson into the area. It's a wasted opportunity, unfortunately. Probably not enough swing on the ball. The wind might have carried a little bit as well. And, of course, Cam Watson just coming on. So not accustomed at the moment to the conditions. And this Moreland City team in absolutely no hurry to restart things. So that could be a sign of the second half and slow things right down. Alex Condeleon spent some time with Melbourne City. Watley strong in the air over Akuno. Vidicic again strong as well. Cam Watson, his calming touch has already entered the game, and you see him just bring a bit of composure as Barfarosh battles with Luke Jurcic. Hodor. Is Hodor related to the Hodor that plays at St Albans? Joe, I'm presuming they must be somehow related.
I believe so. I'm not sure whether it's his brother or not, but we haven't had that discussion.
Okay, so I think Adam Hodor from St Albans originates from the Northern Territory. I'm not sure about this, yes. I'm getting a nod as well, so This Hodor's the same, so some sort of relation, I'm sure. It's good defending from Trey Sadler. Gets the Zebras out of a bit of trouble, and Watson again just nice and calm. Finds Barfarosh. He's got to be strong against Abbott, and he is strong. And away goes Tommy Barfarosh. He tries to release David Cardamone and can't quite get there, but Jurcic with an average touch. Tidmarsh loses out to young Bassetto, and Bassetto just driving forward, does quite well. He's only 17 years old, Max Bassetto, and just a little toe poke in behind for Trigger. Again, doesn't work on this ground. The ball just rolls and rolls and rolls, especially with the wind, as Tiddy can't quite control it, and Luke Jurcic gets in front. So Cam Watson, I've liked him. He's only been on 5 minutes, Joe, but I've liked the control he brings, and he really is a calm and composed character.
Yeah, he is. He's keen to make a difference. Just a little fun fact, Cam's first senior game of football was as a 16-year-old in 2003 under Harry Chalkides when the Zebras were based at Bulleen. So that's why one of the reasons he's wearing a captain's armband when he does play.
That's why we bring you the special guest here on NPL Victoria, Joe Sala, the president of Moreland Zebras, providing the expert comments this second half. Of course, we had Morris Bassetto from Moreland City in the first half, and those little bits of information, why we want these people here, people who make our game tick. It's Tidmarsh, former Kingston City man, looks to get forward. Josh Knight just couldn't control the ball. No, it's Zebras are just lacking that little bit of composure in the front third. Do we know what they've got on the bench today, Joe? Is there anything on the bench we could possibly bring on later on?
There's a couple of midfielders on there, Mitch Trajewski and Guy can make a difference, but they're mostly midfielders. Mitch can get forward. It's just a case of how the gaffer wants to set up. But there's a number of boys that can actually play at the pointy end. It's just a case of what the balance is going to be, Matthew. But at the moment, I'd like to see us take a little bit more control through the middle because we've started to come back into the game, but a little bit too late at the moment.
Deep ball. Kosudnowski might have taken out one of his own players who looks to be not moving. So, well done to Bruno Daniello for stopping the game. Young Max Bassetto got up really well too, so he's actually really impressed me. I said to his dad at half time, I haven't seen him play too much, but he's done quite well. So I might just have a look at the benches of both teams, just to let everyone know who's available for both teams today. So the Zebras, obviously Cam Watson's already come on, Mitchell Trajewski on the bench. Gal is Guy. Sorry, my apologies. Raddy Chilelli as well. Is he okay? Young Raddy. I saw he listed a $5 million property earlier in the week. He was very impressed with his listing on. He's a great young man. He dresses up for the occasion too. He turns out all right in a suit. I'll tell you that. So he does well, young Raddy. Great young kid. So on the bench for Moreland City, we've got Peter Constantini, young man who can play in the middle or up top. Josh Hanna, another youngster as well. Osman Kosa, been here for a long time. Evan Panagopoulos is also on the bench for the home side. So they are the players that are at the disposal. Still getting some treatment at the moment. Just trying to see who's injured at the moment, Joe. It's he's been down for quite a while. Is it Watley or Trey? Is it Tiddy? Nathan Tidmarsh. Yeah. Where's Tiddy? I think it might be him. Okay. I'm just having a look. No, it must be Tiddy's number 2, I think. Is that Cam Watson standing over him? Yep. So Nathan Tidmarsh, we said before, he played for Kingston. I think he comes from Canberra as well, Nathan Tidmarsh. So he's been down here for 5 years now. Quite a long time. Nick Tolios was a big fan of him when he had him at Kingston. His work rate and energy. up and down the left side.
Always presents himself quite well for selection. He's a bit of a professional in the way he goes about it. Disappointing that he's limping off at the moment, so we'll wait and see what the diagnosis is there. But I see young Mitchell Trzaski putting back on his vest, so looks like Tidmarsh might be able to come back on.
Mitch Trzaski played at Hume. Is that the young man who played at Hume? The big boy? Yep. And Preston, yeah, he's with Louis at Preston as well. So have seen him quite a bit, so he'll get his opportunity some stage, I think. Tidmarsh looks like he's okay. As Kostadnowski looks to launch and get this Zebras team back into it, but Basetto drives forward. Here's Max Basetto. Basetto strikes it. Cam Watson gets there. Luke Jurcic delivers. Trigger sets up for an ambitious scissor kick. Maybe a couple of years ago, Michael, might have happened. Watson just again turns it over, and it's been a sloppy and poor second half so far from the Zebras team, but still a long way to go. Josh Knight, Trigger just too easily gets through. It's Colosimo away for another corner. Tidmarsh comes back on. Andrew Viola and Will Abbott making their way forward. It's been bad timing for Joe. It's I want to bring you on to the Zebras team, but it's been a 15 minutes or so of all Moreland City, unfortunately. All right, so it is Trigger over the ball. What can he do? He wraps his foot around it. It takes a touch off maybe Tidmarsh, or is it Andrew Viola who's claiming it? And Moreland City extend their lead to 3. It's Moreland City 3, Moreland Zebras 0, and an absolute mountain to climb now for the visitors. It all starts with just trying to retain possession. One of the Zebras players, it might have been Cam Watson, turned it over, and then Josh Knight and Michael Trigger just too easily got through, set the ball out wide to Colosimo, who wins the set piece. And it's just a little bit too easy at the moment.
Yeah, I agree, Matthew. Look, most of the goals have been, actually all of the goals have been quite agricultural, shall we say, but this is the type of environment where you've got to get the job done, I suppose, and Moreland City have obviously come to the party today.
They certainly have. They do lead by 3-0. This Zebras team, if they are going to try and make a challenge today, as both me and Joe just turn away in unison as Tidmarsh turn the ball over. Tommy Barfrosh, so strong. Challenge with Viola. Here's Cardamone. Tries to run around the ball before he whips it in. Probably should have tried to stop it first, but it's just silly mistakes at the moment from the Zebras, Joe. It's just turning the ball over. It's under no pressure at times. So, very interesting. They have got just under half an hour to fix it. Tidmarsh gets up and wins it. Trigger, a little bit ambitious. Yeah, he's set one. Okay, so the Zebras will make a double change. So is it Guy coming on with Mitchell Trzaski? Who's coming off for the Zebras? So Jake Barkadash is one of them. And the other one might be Nathan Tidmarsh or Dave Cardamone. So Tidmarsh might play a little bit higher. Okay, so we'll get you to tell us a little bit about the... it's only one at the moment, is it? So Guy's put his vest back on. So what can you tell us about Trzaski, Joe?
Yeah, good young boy, Mitchell. He possesses good ball skills and can drive forward, and that's one of the reasons he's probably on today. I'd like to see him push forward a little bit. He's got a good strike on him and read the game pretty well, so it remains to be seen. It's about time to come on, but if anybody's going to make a difference, he's capable.
He's got just under half an hour to show us what he can do. It's Will Abbott, strong in the air. Jurcic. They're playing to the conditions, Moreland City, you might say. They really are. They're, just get the ball away from their own end, play in another end of the park, and you can't concede when the ball's not in your own third. So, and it does, as Joe mentioned, the clock does keep ticking over. The scoreboard is slightly wrong here, though. So, if you are a Zebras fan, don't worry about the scoreboard. You might be able to see the back towards the benches. It's a little bit fast. They're hoping it ends a little bit sooner than it does, of course, being 3-0 up. Tidmarsh. Look, they need to keep the ball, Zebras. Cardamone just can't quite keep it, but Mitch Trajewski, he's strong, big, strong body. Beats Thomas. What can he do? He's just come on the substitute. Oh, neat little ball. Try to find Trey Sadler. Just got quite under his feet, but I like that from Trajewski. He's at least come on and a bit of positivity.
Yeah. Likes to get forward. His first ball is not usually backwards, it's always forward. So I think we've been lacking that going forward. So I expect a little bit more of that. Like you said before, Matthew, it is trying conditions, but Moreland City seem to play that per will. Let's get out of trouble first, and let's see what happens in the end.
Well, it does help when you have a bit of a lead as well to be able to play that style. As Trajewski again on the ball. Moves it to Watson. Watson finds Cardamone. His turn blocked off. Gets the ball back. Here's Tidmarsh. Natural left footer as well. But Basetto gets there. Hodor comfortable on the ball. Watson. They just need to get their foot on the ball here, Zebras. Watley. Sadler, of course, left footer playing that right side. Watley just runs into trouble. Colosimo. Good challenge from Hodor. Does very well. Needed to win that one as well. It just starts to get a little bit darker. I am wearing sunglasses. I just realised I'm wearing sunglasses. It's not as dark as I thought it was. Long, hopeful ball. Akuno. Of course, he scored twice today. The opening goal and then a header to take his team 2 up before Andrew Viola scored the third. Tommy Barfarosh. Oh, it's a strong, strong challenge. Bavkar. One of the Zebras players might be Dario Vidicic, who's on the end of that tackle, but fair challenge, hard but fair. Young Bavkar has done a great job. I'm not sure he's young anymore, but he's young to me because I've known him for a long time. We might talk about the players that the Zebras are missing, Joe. I know you're missing quite a few players. Nigerian, if I've said his name right up front, and a couple of others as well.
Yeah, they're both Nicks. Big Nick Nagorian pulled the leg muscle during the week. Otherwise, he was due to start. As we go here, Moreland City look like taking an ascendancy again.
Jurcic, what can he do? Marked by Watson. Young Basetto, that's too easy. Basetto gets in, and good challenge from Hodor. Cam Watson wouldn't be used to playing on grounds like this where it's just the ball gets away from you at all times. Here's Dario, another player who loves the ball at his feet, but you see the ball in the camera just bobbling and bobbling. It doesn't. This pitch has improved. If you're a first-time watcher of a Moreland City game, you might be laughing at that, but the pitch has improved dramatically over the past 5 years, but it's still so hard.
In terms of players, Matthew, both Nicks are out. Nick Nagorian with a leg injury, and of course Nicky Simuoi, who was injured in our last game. He's taken a little bit of time to come on. He's probably a couple of weeks away, so we miss him on the right. It's one of the reasons why Tremaine Sadler has had to move across from centre half to the right-hand side.
Of course, you're also missing Fraser Chalmers as well.
Yeah, Big Fraser's a long way off just yet. A bit unfortunate. He was travelling okay, but Nicola's done pretty well since he's stepped in. Today's a bit unfortunate, but that's why you have a squad as deep as you can. We'd like to think that we're able to perform regardless of which 11 take the field.
Of course, young Nick Kostadnowski was unbelievable keeper as a junior as well. I've known him since he was 12 years old. I've known his family for, what was he now, Nick, 25, 26, maybe 27. So he's going to be a dad soon as well. Of course, his partner, Alicia, I think it is. So it's just, I had this conversation in the first half with Morris Basetto around the Bavkar family and how I remember refereeing the Bavkar boys as kids, and obviously the dad Lou, and these people are involved in football. You remember for a long time. It's you make a lot of lifelong friends and people you see in the street and you have coffee with, and it's just amazing culture and some great people around in our game. Of course, these two Moreland clubs, we said earlier, separated by 1.4 kilometres it was. I measured it on the way here today. Nice and close. Neat little touch from Tidmarsh, and here is Trajewski. He's big and strong. He'll beat McCall. And a great little ball out wide now. Here's Barfrosh. He's his first chance running at Abbott. Tom Barfrosh cuts back on his right foot. Good save. And it's the Zebras' first real opportunity on goal. Their first big chance this second half, and Tommy Barfrosh did quite well, but needed to hit it a bit harder, didn't he?
Needed to hit it harder, and I think the shot straight at the keeper made it a little bit easier for the keeper to swallow up. Another little fun fact I have for you, my old teammate and current Moreland City president, Morris Bizzetto, little quirk of his, when we first got back down here for the local derbies, he's played the Neighbours theme at half-time.
Well, Morris tells me he's not the president at the moment, as we see an opportunity here for Moreland City. Morris mentioned to me that you were teammates at, was it East Ivanhoe? Ivanhoe City. It was one of those. I remember in the first half he mentioned it a long time ago. He might have told me what year it was, but I can't recall. But it was a long time ago, he said, that you were teammates. Early 80s, there we go. So you were a centre half, I think, from memory, is what he said. Yes, so I was talking about Morris's son and his absolute speed, and Morris said he didn't get it from him. So because his kids, he's lightning, this young Max Pacetto. He's very, very quick. A bit of a lull at the moment in the game. I want to ask you about the Zebras, and obviously based out of Decene Reserve as a home base for the club at some point. We'll come back in a second as Trajewski keeps getting involved since he's come on, and Barfrosh turns straight into Viola. A long ball from Jurcic will be easily dealt with. What's the long term? We'll come back to that in a moment. As Trigger drives forward, tries to release to Pacetto, but Hodor has actually impressed me today, to be honest, Joe. He's done very, very well. He's also quite a hard player too. He gets stuck in. The club based at Decene Reserve at the moment. Are there longer term plans to do anything there, or is it more CB Smith Reserve for the longer term?
Well, foreseeable future, we've got a few plans on the board. There's some money tucked away for a synthetic pitch, which we're hoping to get up at the Coburg High School. It's about 100 metres down the road from us. Give us another option for training venues and junior games. A couple of pitches there at McDonald's Reserve as well as the Sheen. So we're all in a nice little space, but I don't think any stadium facility is actually able to be built there. So CB Smith Stadium is quite good. It's a bump in, bump out. We share it with a couple of other teams, but as long as the municipality looks after it pretty well. But Matthew, our game is crying out for facilities more like CB Smith Reserve. If we had a few more in the municipality, it would serve the code a lot better than it currently does. But these are things to plan. There's a few little irons in the fire, but they take a long time to come to fruition.
So we are getting the insights of Joe Sala, the president of Moreland Zebras. It's very hard, especially in these inner city places, Joe, to find the land to do it. And as McCall drives forward, he finds Trigger, but a great last-ditch challenge. Might have been Cardamone who got in front of him. Just got it away. It's a big challenge these days. This landlocked area is very strong, and I say this with trying to be as neutral as possible. The Green vote as well about spaces, about what they should be used for, and I talked earlier in the first half to Morris about this being an open park today, and anyone who wants to walk their dog can come down and do that, because you wouldn't want to stop the dog walkers from getting in the way. Ball in. Kostadnowski deals it this time, and Cardamone will be forced to hoof it long. He'll try and find Barfrosh. Pacetto just forces him. Stays. I see that the Zebras are trying to make another change in just a moment. It might be happening now. So I'll get Joe Sala to tell us who's coming on and going off from his team.
Looks like Dario Vidicic has had enough for the day, and he's been replaced by Ratib Chileli. So like for like, unless Ratib gets... Oh, no. Looks like Dario's just gone over for a breather, and Barfrosh is coming out. So Ratib Chileli will probably play further forward, I can see. I thought it was Dario, but Dario looks like he's just getting a drink there. Yeah, the facilities Morris was speaking about it. I mean, it is what it is, but that's why the municipality is in the city of Moreland. If we get another couple of stadiums or dedicated premier pitches for some of the elite clubs in the area. We might be able to preserve some of the other grounds, and we don't have to have the home base at the actual stadium, but I think our code probably needs and deserves a bit more given the participation rates, Matthew.
Football is absolutely growing. I'm not sure if you know my day job, Joe, but I work in, well, I'll come back to that. It's Joshy Knight trying to get behind. I work in local government. Not for Moreland, I'll say that. And again, I'm aware of a lot of the participation numbers, and they are huge for football, and the growth, especially in female football, has been phenomenal. I know that the Zebras have a good female program as well. Cindy Lay, might come back to your female program in a moment. Let's see if Nathan Tidmarsh can get your side back into it. His long throw into the area. Viola unchallenged, falls to Watson. Cam Watson, he'll want to try and keep the ball, and does so with Tidmarsh. Tiddy with a great ball. Back post. Dario Vidas is trying to cut it back, but the young man in goal, Conteleon, has been good all day. So you've got Cindy Lay there as well as the female captain. I saw her on Facebook the other day. I saw an interview with her, and it's a great program you've got. You might have even brought in Ian Williamson recently as well.
Yes, Matthew, Ian Williamson's just joined us. Bit of success with Calder Cannons and highly respected in the women's game. He's going to complement our coaching staff, but Cindy's enjoyed it. She's a great character. This is her second year here. We didn't take off in 220, but they were just as prime then. Another young player, Jessica Owl, she's had experience at the top level. So we've gathered a bit. This is the second phase of our 10-year program. So the first 5 years yielded us, as we stopped for an opportunity to goal, and Nicola makes a save to keep us from being 4 down. And Daniele's given us a kick. So free kick, and the game will stop for a second. So I'll just get back to the 5-year program. The second stage, the second 5 years has taken place now, and we're primed to possibly step up into the VPL if it all goes according to plan. We're currently sitting on top. The first 5 years yielded a couple of premierships, so got us back up from Division 3, and we've got a full book of junior players as well, so we're pretty happy with the progress so far. And we want to mirror what the NPL men do in terms of facilities and support.
It's quite fantastic. I do follow the club very closely on Facebook as well, and very active on there and promoting their activities. So, of course, a great tool for clubs these days, their social media, promote what's happening. Tidmarsh finds Joshy Knight. Hasn't done much for me today, Josh Knight. Need him to really step up, and Ruddy Chilali just turns the ball over. Trigger out to Akuno. Can he keep it in? No, he can't. What's the time? Just ticks away for this Moreland Zebras side. There will be plenty of added time on, of course. Tidmarsh going down earlier with an injury. We are privileged today as well. We spoke to Morris Pacetto of Moreland City in the first half. He joined me as my co-commentator in this second half, again by Joe Sala, a man of many years' experience with the Moreland Zebras Juventus. How many years, Joe? How many years is it? I said to Morris in the first half, it was as long as I could remember. So you tell me, how many years you've been involved in the club?
Well, I've been involved, joined as a sponsor in '98, so I've always supported it through the newspapers. I can remember clearly the '80s. Not good enough to ever play for it, but here we are. And '98 joined as a sponsor, and as Moreland City get hold of another ball that potentially ever strike, we hold on if we can, and we come out. Zebras trying to clear their lines, and they do finally. So I joined in '98, and in 2000 I joined the board, so I know it's a long time.
Absolutely a long time, and the word stalwart comes to mind, and as Josh Knight goes through and goes down very Joe Mirabella here earlier. Is Mirabella family, of course, lost one of the patron of the family earlier in the year, I believe. A long-term sponsor of this club.
Yeah, Paul Mirabella is a perpetual #1 ticket holder at the club this year, but we're very fortunate. We've had generational support from the Mirabella family, as indeed and a couple of other families as well. So it's an institution now that's 73 years old. So It sort of has a little bit of a weight to it in terms of not letting it down and maybe doing everything you can to keep promoting it, and that's what we live for. We have the common goal. I don't think we looked any different at all since 48 when we began, so the lineage is there. Our association name is still Brunswick Juventus Football Club Incorporated, and we couldn't play as that until very recently, but there could be some moves afoot there, which I'll tell you about next time you want to interview me, Matthew.
Well, there we go. Of course, getting the insights into the club. It's great having people like Joe Seiler here as Moreland City make a double change coming off his young Max Bassetto. He had a great first period, and Michael Trigger also comes off. I know it's Osman Kosher coming on, and looks like Peter Constantinu coming on as well. I will check my sheets, but looks like the young man. Definitely Aussie Kosher, somebody who's been here for a long time. The Zebras just can't combine that front third, Joe. It's just I mean, I think the first 10 minutes, I use the word pummel. They got pummeled in their own half. They just got belted around. After that, they've controlled the ball in the middle. I think since Cam Watson's come on, he's done very, very well. Trajewski as well. They've controlled the ball in the middle. Just can't combine that front third.
I don't want to make any excuses whatsoever. I mean, the ground's tight. It really doesn't suit how we've set out to play most games, but we knew today it was going to be like this. But you need to adapt, Matthew. If you're going to have any hopes of progressing somewhere, you need to adapt to every situation that's going to be different. You just need to adapt.
Yeah, it's the Zebras, like Joe said, we haven't adapted as well as they could have or should have. This ground is not like CB Smith Reserve where the ball just flows. You see now as the ball comes towards us, just bobbles and bobbles. So, but the ground has improved. The cricket pitch used to be right in front of us, and an absolute mud bath for long periods of time during the winter. And the club has done quite well, like all clubs. It's a battle for council funding. They've got a scoreboard there. They've got an extension to their club rooms where the new change rooms are now. And I remember coming here for years and years, the portables outside in that little car park. We all battle for the dollar. It's very hard. We're all friends and all in the same community, but we all want the money spent on us. Very, very hard. That's why facilities like CB Smith Reserve come about, where there's that sharing. You see there's a bump in and bump out, and you're in there for a day and someone else comes in tomorrow, and we utilise the best facility in the area.
That's true, Matthew, but when it comes to facilities and that, I mean, all clubs sort of band together, and we're happy for a club to get some sort of recognition and upgrade their facilities, because eventually that's going to flow onto every club. So no one's ever against anybody trying to better their environment. Pascoe Vale's just gone through it recently with their home pitch. A bit of drama across there, but I think they got an outcome that it suits, and it's for the betterment of the game.
Absolutely. The Hoskin Reserve redevelopment, of course, going through very recently. You might also recall, Joe, the challenge that the Essendon Royals, another Italian club, have faced in recent times as well, with their council, the Moonee Valley Council, and all clubs band together. Like you said, it's not just the clubs in that municipality either. There were plenty of clubs banding together to try and better our game as a whole. So it really is important that we all do sit together. And I know that I think FE were looking at bringing in a staff member to look at new developments, so things like areas like Pakenham and in the north where you guys used to be based, sort of the Epping area and stuff like that, going a bit further out, looking at new builds, and as part of those new builds, what soccer facilities can we get from this? You can lend, lease, do, or whoever's building a shopping centre or building the community out there, how can they help football as well? So it's a very hard one, because not only do we fight for each other for money, we fight with other sports. We fight with netball, we fight with footy and all that sort of stuff. And we are dominant. We keep telling everyone we're dominant, but sometimes the dollars don't seem to make sense either.
No, that's true, and it is a universal effort on clubs' behalf. But look, contractors that build estates, they have it in their regulations now that there must be some open space environment. If the council's on board with the perception of sporting fields, mixed codes, basketball, football, AFL, it's a case of just getting what's necessary for the community. there's a lot worse thing you can do in life as a youngster than play community sport, especially in a team environment. Your obligation to someone else. You're not left by yourself. In times of crisis, is actually a help to many people. Community sport should be long-lived in our culture.
Very true. As we see Sam McCall come off and Josh Hanna come on for Moreland City. And each part of, I guess, the way we operate in Australia is we have so many different forms of government and levels of government, and every council is different. I've spent some time with Hume Council, and they've got a great facility, not only for soccer in that down at John Ilhan Reserve, but they've got a brand new sort of softball facility being built. They've got a great hockey centre. There's an awesome football ground. It's really widespread in terms of what they do. But again, that Hume Council has that luxury of space and stuff like that, which other councils don't. The City of Yarra didn't actively encourage the NPL program. And as part of the NPL application process, clubs have to have that support from council, and their stance was we don't want to discourage the community players as well. So every council and every club has different challenges and different needs they have to try and accommodate. And again, these inner city councils do lack that space, and that's the biggest thing. And see the issue with the Northcote Golf Club. People want to turn into a picnic park rather than a golf course, and I see both sides. I do. I'm a big fan of golf, and if you look at how much space golf takes up, and compare the numbers, I'm not sure they do sense. And here's Moreland City saying, we're done for the day. We'll go to the corner, and I'm not too sure about that when you're 3-0 up though, Joe. I think you might want to keep playing it out when you're 3-0. It's 1-0, 2-0 maybe, but 3-0. Yeah, it's So Cam Watson, he has done well since he came on, but as soon as I say that, of course, he makes an error. Trey Chesky, another one who I've been impressed with since he came on. So those two substitutes for all Zebras, they did their job in that they made a difference, Joe. So they might not have turned the game, but they're certainly no detriment to players like Jake Buckadash or anything like that. But these guys have done really well since they've came on. Great ball from Cam Watson through to Josh Knight. Him and Viola battle, and Viola just too strong, and Josh Knight's probably had better days. He might have said he wasn't his best day today, Joe.
Been outpointed most of the day today, but he's not alone there. The whole squad looks like it's been a little bit flat for the day, but we move on to next week and see what the future holds. Matthew, thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you to Joe Sala of the Moreland Zebras. Of course, today it's Moreland City 3, Moreland Zebras 0. My name is Matthew McNamara. Joining me today in the first half was Morris Pacetto. The second half was Joe Sala. Thank you for watching, and good evening.